Disney World is kicking it into high gear and bombarding us with so many updates. So how are these park renovations, new experiences, and returning features going to impact the way you do Disney in the next few weeks or months or even years? Find out today here on DFB Guide. Hey everybody, it's AJ for Disney Food Blog. So Disney World is in its reimagining era. We're seeing new restaurants, new lands, new shows, new rides, and overall new ways to experience things that are being constantly added to the parks and resorts and shopping district right now. But some of the best park changes have yet to happen in Disney World. Though when they do happen, they're going to wind up changing the entire trajectory of your vacation from here on out. So today's video is going to focus on Disney's latest additions, as well as additions you need to prepare yourself to encounter either in the distant or not so distant future. Don't worry, we got your back. We're going to start off things on a real high note here. What? Disney Food Blog getting excited about Disney food? Surely not. Of course we are. Disney World is getting ready to bring us a whole lot of new places to eat across the parks and resorts. Over at Disney's Boardwalk Inn, we're getting a double dose of new eats. We've been super excited about the Cake Bake Shop restaurant and bakery for a real long time now. And while this soon-to-be tea, sandwich, and sweet shop has seen some construction delays that have pushed back its original opening timeline, it was supposed to open last year, we still expect to see this one sometime in 2024, hopefully sooner rather than later. Similarly, the Blue Ribbon Corn Dogs kiosk, which is also set to open over at the Boardwalk, has seen the same sort of construction delays that the Cake Bake Shop encountered. Yet, we're still preparing our taste buds for the day these unique Disneyland native snacks will finally grace us with their presence on the East Coast. I'm still not sure I want to have that pickle dog. We will see. Now, meanwhile, at Disney's Grand Floridian Resort and Spa, we're getting ready to welcome back the long-awaited Character Buffet 1900 Park Fair, which is now taking reservations and slated to open on April 10th. 1900 Park Fair has been down for the count since the 2020 closures, but it's coming back in a whole new way with new characters to meet during the Wishmaker's extended dining experience. This is going to include characters like Aladdin in his Prince Ali look, Cinderella, Mirabelle from Encanto, and Tiana in her new look for Tiana's Bayou Adventure. More on that later on too. And while we're not exactly sure when Disney's planning on opening their teased Pirates of the Caribbean themed tavern in Magic Kingdom, we do know that this new lounge is going to be located in Adventureland later on in the future and will be a first of its kind experience that'll extend the story of Pirates of the Caribbean. And I cannot wait to get in there and see it. Now, while we're waiting for these new restaurants to open their doors, don't forget about the other new places that have already opened in Disney World that you can eat in today. In Disney Springs, you've got Summer House on the Lake, which is like a patchwork blanket of restaurants. It's got California-inspired fare, Cali Mex brunches, a signature rosé cart, and even a walk-up cookie bar with dozens of freshly baked goodies for you to enjoy. There's also Eat by Manit Shawan. That's a quick service featuring lots of unique Indian cuisine with a modern twist. And in the parks, Shiki Sai Sushi Izakaya opened in Epcot's Japan Pavilion this past August, featuring Japanese delights like sushi and teppan items, plus an open sushi bar and grill. And Hollywood Studios opened Roundup Rodeo Barbecue in March 2023. Yep, it's been a whole year. Still feels like we just got introduced to this Toy Story themed all-you-can-eat barbecue extravaganza, but it's still newish in Disney terms, and reservations still go for it fast. So make sure to book yours right when those advanced dining reservations go live for your trip, which will be 60 days before your visit. Now, we talked about all those restaurants really fast, I'm well aware, but if you want a better in-depth look at Disney's dining scene across all of its parks and hotels and shopping district, then be sure to check out our DFB Guide to Walt Disney World Dining, which has been updated for 2024 and is now live on dfbstore.com. You can take that as slowly as you want, just sort of read through. I know I talk quickly sometimes. But don't forget to type in the code YouTube if you want to purchase that so you can save some money on your purchase. And remember, it's a 100% money back guarantee. If this is not the book for you, just let us know and you can get your money back and keep the guide. Now, as the great Dr. Doofenshmirtz from Phineas and Ferb once said, if I had a nickel for every time Disney Springs offered a free limited time drone show, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it's happened twice. Did I sound like Dr. Doofenshmirtz? I don't think I did, but I wish I did. Anyway, back in 2017, Disney Springs offered up a limited time drone show. Who remembers this? I do. And now this technology is coming back to the shopping district once more. Yes, Disney World is getting its own drone show. We are very excited. So this summer, you'll be able to watch a brand new show from the west side of Disney Springs above Lake Buena Vista. This show is going to be called Disney Dreams That Soar, and it's inspired by Disney stories showcasing flight. Now, these drones are programmed to create designs in the sky and will be accompanied by a beautiful musical score that includes some memorable movie quotes. The show will begin on May 24th with its final showing on September 2nd, and hopefully we'll get another drone show after that. Cross your fingers. Next way your Disney trip is going to be completely different. Epcot Festivals will never look the same again. We finally have an official opening date for Communicore Hall and Plaza in Epcot. I feel like we've been talking about it for years. Oh, that's right, we have. Communicore Hall and Plaza will be housed in the World Celebration area to bring Epcot's future festivals to the center of the park. Communicore Plaza is going to be an outdoor space where you can come to relax and experience large-scale concerts or intimate performances that'll extend out into the gardens nearby. And here's some brand new information for you. A new Encanto show is going to debut at the newly opened Communicore Plaza Stage 2. Celebración Encanto is going to feature the iconic songs and stories straight from the film. So get ready to sing along with Mirabel and Bruno and the rest of the Madrigal family. Meanwhile, Communicore Hall will be the first fully purpose-built structure for festivals. It's designed to host a whole bunch of festival experiences like art and food and live music and demonstrations and more. Disney clarified that this area will be open year-round, not just during festivals, and be a reliable place where you can take in some AC and relax for a little bit before getting back to your regularly scheduled park day, which I will sure be taking advantage of that. You'll also be able to meet Mickey and Co. here at their new character meet and greet location. Now, originally we thought Communicore was going to be open and ready by the time Festival of the Arts kicked off in 2024, but that definitely didn't end up being the case. Now we know that Communicore's official opening date is June 10th, 2024, so just in time for the Food and Wine Festival. We're hoping this means we'll see the return of Food and Wine's culinary demonstrations and wine and beverage seminars that have been missing from this event since the 2020 closures. Now, next way your trip could be completely different, it may include more than just Disney. Epic Universe has entered the chat, my friends. In 2025, Universal Orlando will be opening their third park gate, Epic Universe, which Universal considers to be their most ambitious theme park yet, and I think they're onto something. With more than 50 attractions and entertainment options, restaurants and shopping experiences coming, the addition of Epic Universe is going to double the size of Universal Orlando as a whole. Now, when the park opens, there'll be 5 new lands to explore. You got Celestial Park, which is kind of their main hub. The Wizarding World of Harry Potter Ministry of Magic. Super Nintendo World will be there. How to Train Your Dragon, Isle of Berk, and Dark Universe, featuring Universal's classic movie monsters. Universal will also be opening its Helios Grand Hotel, which will directly connect to Celestial Park and lead guests right into the heart of Epic Universe. Joining Universal Helios Grand Hotel will be 2 park-adjacent hotels called Universal Stella Nova Resort and Universal Terra Luna Resort by Loews Hotels. That's going to help hold even more people who want to stay close to the action at all times. So if you're planning a vacation to Orlando sometime after Epic Universe opens up in 2025, at a date that's yet to be determined, but we'll let you know once we learn more, then you may want to step outside the Disney bubble and see what the hullabaloo is about over there on the Universal side of things. That being said, we expect really heavy crowd levels during Epic Universe's first few months of operation, which could potentially lead to a lot of kinks in each area that still need to be worked out. I know we've got a ways to go before we're welcoming Epic Universe into the Orlando theme park scene, but keep your ears open for future timeline release dates so you can decide if you want to plan some days outside the Disney sphere during your 2025 vacation. Now, if you've never gone to Disney's Typhoon Lagoon or Blizzard Beach water parks before, 2025 might be your year to check one of them off your bucket list. Recently, Disney announced that in 2025, those staying at any of the Disney hotels, including DVC properties, are going to get a free park ticket to the water parks for the very first day you check into your hotel, so for your arrival day. Now, this sounds both exciting and kind of exhausting, because personally, when I finally get to my hotel after a long flight, the last thing on my mind is usually, hey, let's go get beat up by a wave pool and ride a bunch of tube slides. But A trip around one of those lazy rivers may not be too bad, especially if it's free. Now, keep in mind that although Disney has 2 theme parks, you'll probably only have access to one during your trip. The water parks have had staggered annual refurbishments ever since 2020 and will more than likely continue to do so for the foreseeable future. Now, Disney basically confirms this on their website by saying that guests should be able to enjoy at least one water park experience year-round with this up-and-coming 2025 free water park perk. Now, per the release of this video, Typhoon Lagoon has taken the stand and Blizzard Beach has entered hibernation mode, but make sure to keep an eye on the DFB website and the Disney World website to see which water park will be open and available during your next visit. Now, reminder, that ticket is just for your arrival day from what I understand. So if you're one of those folks that likes to get to Disney World late at night, on your first day that you leave work and you head to Disney World, so you're up early the next morning going to the park, maybe stay at a off-property hotel that first night so that you can check in the morning of your first full day in Disney World and get access to that water park ticket so you can spend the whole day there. So it is happening. Frontierland is getting an extreme frontier makeover. And by the time it's all said and done, this area of Magic Kingdom is going to be hopping with activity. The once Splash Mountain Log Flume and Country Bear Jamboree animatronic show are now closed, and the park is experiencing major renovations as we speak on both of these attractions. Imagineers are currently hard at work transforming Splash Mountain into Tiana's Bayou Adventure, which is going to still use the same log flume system as before. It's basically the same ride itself. The only difference is going to be the overlay. It's going to feature a whole new storyline based around the Princess and the Frog. Meanwhile, the bears over at Country Bear Jamboree are learning an all-new act for their new show, Country Bear Musical Jamboree. This revamped show is going to be a take on classic variety shows found in Nashville, Tennessee, meaning the bears will perform Disney songs in fresh styles like country, rockabilly, and bluegrass. Both Tiana's Bayou Adventure and Country Bear Jamboree will be opening this summer, which will be here sooner than you know it. By the way, if you need help planning out your perfect Magic Kingdom day, we got a free quick guide for you that'll help build that ideal Magic Kingdom itinerary. Just scan the QR code that you see on the screen now or head to disneyfoodblog.com/Magic Kingdom to download your copy. Now, if history repeats itself, and I can almost bet money that it will, I'm guessing Disney's going to give Tiana's Bayou Adventure a virtual queue when it first opens, rather than a regular standby one, meaning you'll only be able to get in line for this ride through the My Disney Experience app. And to keep the predictions rolling here, if Tiana's Bayou Adventure gets a virtual queue, then I'm guessing that the virtual queue currently at Tron Light Cycle Run in Tomorrowland might disappear. Now, all speculation, but I'd be way more surprised if this series of events didn't end up happening over the next few months. Or I'd be very surprised if Tiana's didn't get its own virtual queue. They may not take the Tron Light Cycle Run one away, but Tiana's, I think, is definitely going to be a virtual queue for a little while. At any rate, you're definitely going to want to familiarize yourself with Disney's virtual queue system before you head in that direction, because you will more than likely be using it. I'll put our detailed virtual queue post down in the description below, just in case you want to look over how this system works step by step. For now, though, let me hit you with some recent virtual queue changes that you will for sure experience in the parks right now. On January 9th, 2024, Park Pass reservations became a thing of the past for most park guests, giving your family a whole lot more freedom to pick and choose which parks you want to visit on the day of your visit, as well as which virtual queues you want to jump in line for. Now that those Park Pass reservations are gone for date-based ticketed guests, you can try for either virtual queue that currently exists in the Disney scene right now, the Tron virtual queue or the Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind virtual queue over in Epcot. And you can join those right when they go live at 7 a.m. Now here's a hypothetical scenario for you. Let's say that on the Wednesday of your vacation, you're planning to go to Magic Kingdom. You're on the My Disney Experience app, ready to snag that virtual queue reservation right away when it opens up at 7 a.m. But the clock strikes 7, you blink, and before you know it, the virtual queue books up in seconds before you've got the chance to jump in line. So now what? Well, you could still try to get into the Cosmic Rewind virtual queue because you can just change your park plans now without worrying about any Park Pass reservations tying you down. That's awesome. But that extra chance you gain at getting a different virtual queue means lots of people have that exact same extra chance as you. So there could be more people trying to snag virtual queues across both parks than you may realize. Keep in mind, though, that you'll still only be able to secure one virtual queue at a time, so you can't get in the virtual queue for both rides first thing in the morning, which does help distribute things a little bit better. From our experience, it seems like these virtual queues are still filling up pretty quickly, especially when the parks are a little busier than normal, and we expect they'll fill up even faster if and when Tiana's Bayou Adventure starts using a virtual queue system as well. So it's more important than ever before to set that alarm and have a plan on which attraction you want to snag first. Now, as a plan C, you may want to budget for an individual lightning lane just in case those virtual queues do fill up too fast. That way you can pay per person per single ride through to bypass the virtual queue hassle altogether. Okay, so yeah, that was a lot of information. Hopefully it was good information that you'll be able to arm yourself with before jumping into the virtual queue trenches on your next Disney World trip. Now, whether you want to try the 4 parks in one day challenge or you're just wanting to grab a quick breakfast croissant from Epcot before jumping back to Hollywood Studios to start your morning, park hopping is once again just as easy as it used to be before the pandemic closures. Now that park pass reservations are no longer a thing for most guests, a lot of other Disney rules have fizzled out too, like park hopping restrictions. After the 2020 closures, Disney World changed park hopping rules so that guests were only allowed to park hop after 2 p.m. each day. But now, that 2 p.m. park hopping restriction is a rule of the past, and park hopping can once again happen at any time for any park. All that makes sense? Okay. Now remember what I said earlier though, park pass reservations have dropped for most guests. These reservations, however, are still required for other admission types, including those who do not have date-based tickets, like annual pass holders with some exceptions, and those who get non-date-based tickets for conventions or student groups. So how do these recent park hopping changes impact those who still need to make park pass reservations? Well, you can still park hop whenever you want to, but you'll first have to make sure you scan into the park you made a reservation for. So if you have a park pass reservation for Magic Kingdom and you enter that park at 9 a.m., then you can go to a different park anytime after you scan into that one. Now, this next one is one of those Disney changes I'm just ready to rip the Band-Aid off already, because if we have to relearn how to work the Genie Plus system again, I'd rather get it out of the way now so I can relay the information back to you before your big Disney trips. But alas, there's still a lot up in the air when it comes to major Genie Plus changes that Disney promised a while back. Genie Plus has been a controversial topic since it replaced the once-free FastPass Plus service back in 2021. Not only is the whole paying for a once-free service situation a huge red flag for us, but even beyond the price point, one of the biggest complaints about Genie Plus has been the amount of time you have to spend on your phone scheduling lightning lanes during your park day. This is very different from how FastPass Plus once worked, which would allow you to book some of your rides before your vacation, much like you can make advanced dining reservations for restaurants. Right now, you have to buy Disney Genie Plus and book your lightning lanes on the day of your visit. But in May 2023, Disney announced that it plans to make changes to this service sometime in 2024 to help guests, once again, be able to plan out some of their Genie Plus selections ahead of time. And that's all we've heard about these changes since. While we're still waiting to hear more about how Genie Plus might work in the future, be sure to check out our current Genie Plus videos on our channel so you can familiarize yourself with this line bypassing service and how it works right now. And then whenever those Genie Plus changes do happen, we're going to post another updated video on our site to help you stay relevant in the Genie Plus pool of influence. So what are some of the biggest complaints I hear about the Disney parks daily? That they're crowded, they're hot, their snacks are too expensive. But what if I told you Disney now has a solution for all of the above? Disney After Hours are specially ticketed events capped off at a limited number of people that are held in Epcot, Hollywood Studios, and Magic Kingdom on select nights through the year. Disney's Animal Kingdom has also offered After Hours events in the past and even has an After Hours page featured on the Disney World website. Looks like we don't have any official dates for future events here yet for 2024, but we'll let you know the status of that changes in the future. Each of these events allows you 3 extra hours in the parks after they close for the general public so that you can take advantage of the rides with much lower waits to worry about and at much cooler temperatures too. And in addition to the lower wait times, your after hours admission also includes unlimited snacks like popcorn, ice cream, and bottled drinks. Worried about missing one of the nighttime spectaculars if you choose to purchase an after hours ticket? Don't be. All after-hours guests will be able to enter the parks a couple of hours before the actual event kicks off, giving you just enough time to see one of the major fireworks shows on the same night. Now, keep in mind that these after-hours events tend to cost more than a regular day park ticket for fewer hours in the park. I know, you're like, how is that in any way a good deal? Well, that being said, if you prioritize getting as many rides done as possible in a single visit while also avoiding intense crowds and insane heat, then these after-hours options just might be the holy grail of the Disney World park realm. They definitely are for me. I love going to these. I've been to a lot, and I still think it's worth the money. Okay, so let's talk about new lands next. There have been a lot of teases and hints regarding major park changes that we need to be on the lookout for in the future, but those changes might be taking over the Disney World scene sooner rather than later. During the D23 convention, way back in 2022, Disney shared with us that both Magic Kingdom and Animal Kingdom could be seeing some major new lands start to take shape in both parks. And as time has passed, we've learned that these blue sky ideas are becoming more and more of a reality with each new Disney update. For Magic Kingdom, those ideas are still pretty under wraps, but we do know that a new land beyond Big Thunder Mountain is currently in the works and predicted to be Magic Kingdom's biggest expansion yet, with an up-and-coming land on the same scale as Star Wars Galaxy's Edge and Hollywood Studios. Again, we don't know what this land's going to be exactly, but ideas like Coco-themed areas or an entire Disney Villains section have been thrown around as possibilities, so we'll just have to wait and see if either idea is going to stick or if Disney will end up giving us a whole different land entirely. I think we're going to see more info on this coming up in the D23 Expo this August. Meanwhile, over in Animal Kingdom, the new area in this park is moving right along at a much faster speed. During Destination D23 in 2023, we learned that Dino Land USA's days are numbered. Imagineers are currently working to retheme this area of the park into a Tropical Americas section, which could feature IP influences from films like Encanto and Indiana Jones. So how many days do we have left with Dino Land USA? Maybe fewer than we originally thought. Recently, Disney filed a permit with the South Florida Water Management District, and this permit was for a trailer compound, which generally these types of compounds most popularly pop up around long-term construction sites. The permit outlines that this compound will also have parking and utilities for those who'll be working on site. While we can't say with 100% certainty that this is a Dino Land related compound, the permit's proximity to Dino Land does make us feel kind of confident that this has something to do with the new land update. Now, bonus update here, there's also going to be some more movement over in the Epcot scene too. Now, this isn't actually for a whole new land or anything, but it is for a reimagined ride. Test Track will be getting rethemed to take inspiration from Epcot's old World of Motion attraction. During the Destination D23 convention, Disney explained that Imagineers, along with teams from Chevrolet, are reaching back into history for inspiration from the old attraction. Now, I love this because World of Motion was my favorite ride. World of Motion and Horizons, both my favorite rides in 80s Epcot, right? Now, not to keep repeating the same thing over and over again, but we don't have any clear timelines for when this revamp is going to happen either. Some inside sources have mentioned that Test Track may be closed for a long refurbishment starting later this summer, which could be the perfect opportunity for these changes to start taking place. But it would be kind of sad if we just got rid of all those walls in Epcot and now we got more walls, right? Right. So we talked about new lands, now it's time to talk about new shows, and we've got a lot of new entertainment on its way to Disney World. Some of you might have noticed that in the last point I did not talk about the new show coming to Animal Kingdom. They are planning on replacing a long-standing 3D movie for a brand new one, and that show is going to be all about the characters and adventures featured in Zootopia. According to Disney, this show is going to be filled with humor and action and lots of fan favorite characters like Judy Hopps and Nick Wilde, Officer Clawhauser, and many other Zootopia citizens, both new and classic. Now, this show is going to happen inside the Tree of Life, meaning It's Tough to Be a Bug will be closing its doors in the future to make way for these crime-busting predators and prey. When is it closing? Don't know yet, but we'll make sure to fill you in just as soon as we know more. Meanwhile, over in Hollywood Studios, we got a bit clearer timeline for the up-and-coming live-action show coming to Animation Courtyard this year. The Little Mermaid, a musical adventure, will be a reimagining of the stage show Voyage of the Little Mermaid, which hasn't been open since the parks closed back in 2020. But after all this time, Disney's finally ready to put another live-action show back on Little Mermaid's stage. This one is going to be based on the cartoon version of The Little Mermaid and will include classic songs from the film like Part of Your World, Poor Unfortunate Souls, and it'll also have Kiss the Girl added, so that's a brand new song for this particular show. And the new Little Mermaid show is slated to open at Hollywood Studios this fall. Moving on to hotels. So many Disney World resorts are currently undergoing major glow ups. So let's talk about all of them just in case these are the hotel glow ups that you've been waiting for. In 2024, you already know about all those restaurants coming to Boardwalk Inn, but the Boardwalk also recently went through some major room and lobby renovations, which you can experience right now. The new Boardwalk rooms still hold on to that classic turn of the century charm while also sprinkling in some fun Disney details like vintage inspired Mickey and Minnie artwork, hidden Mickey lampshades, and drapes with silhouettes of Mickey and the gang. Over at Fort Wilderness, Disney Vacation Clubs announced its plan to take over and bring guests more than 350 refreshed cabins to replace the existing cabins across the resort. Although the new cabins will be part of the Disney Vacation Club resort lineup, they'll still be open for reservations to all guests, non-DVC members included. These refreshed cabins will start making their debut on July 1st, but the opening will take place in phases. So only the first loop will open July 1st, the second will follow later on in the month, and more will continue to open up throughout the rest of the year. Now, speaking of major DVC construction, Polynesian Village Resort is currently working on a whole new DVC building, which will feature new restaurants, new recreation offerings, and lots of new DVC rooms to hit the hay in. While the rest of the Polynesian Village Resort is still open per usual, the walkway between the Polynesian and Grand Floridian is closed due to this heavy construction. So if you need to get over from one resort to the other, you'll need to hop on the monorail and ride over instead of walking or take that boat. The DVC villas here are expected to open in late 2024. Now, I will want to clarify that walkway between Grand Floridian and Polynesian goes back and forth. Sometimes it's open, sometimes it's not. So if you're staying at the Polynesian or the Grand Floridian, be sure to ask a cast member when you're there, is it open or not? Now, speaking of Grand Floridian, she has gone through a lot of changes in recent years. The opening of the new DVC villas, an updated Narcoossee's restaurant, changes at Citrico's and Victoria and Albert's too. But the renovations just can't stop coming and they won't stop coming. The Disney World website does warn that the hotel is currently undergoing refurbishments, so you will be able to see and hear construction around the resort, including the lobby during daytime hours. But the website also notes that most resort hotel amenities at Grand Floridian will remain available. And over at Port Orleans Resort French Quarter, that Doubloon Lagoon pool is currently closed for routine maintenance until April 2024. So if you happen to be staying at this resort while that closure is taking place, but you still want to take a dip during your vacation, you're more than welcome to stroll over to Old Man Island Pool at Port Orleans Resort Riverside or any of the other quiet pools sprinkled throughout the Riverside area too. But note, this is going to be about a 15-minute walk, so it's not something to take lightly, but you can use that pool, well, all of those pools over there while you're staying at POFQ. And of course, I've got to warn you about this one. I know I talk about it in every video, but I don't want anyone to be disappointed. Stormalong Bay at Yacht and Beach Club Resort will be closed from January 2025 to May 2025 for routine maintenance. Now, you're still welcome to swim at the Tidal, Admiral, and Dunes Cove leisure pools across these resorts, but I'm not going to lie to you, it's going to be a real bummer to miss out on Stormalong Bay. That pool is literally the coolest of the Disney resort pools. I will stand by that forever. Now, the Fantasia Pool at All-Star Movies Resort will also be closed for refurbishments from January 2025 to April 2025. While it's closed, you'll still be able to swim in the Duck Pond Pool, as well as the feature pools at those neighboring All-Star Resort hotels. So Disney World may look a lot different than it once did, but it's still the family fun vacation destination that's been a part of our lives for the past 50 years. So don't forget to keep tuning back here for more Disney World updates to come. We're going to make sure that you don't make any mistakes while you're there. We're going to make them all for you so that you don't have to. Be sure to download that free Magic Kingdom quick guide I mentioned earlier as well. You know, the one with all the epic itinerary planning advice. Yeah, that one. Over at DisneyFoodBlog.com/Magic Kingdom. Thanks for listening, everyone, and thanks for watching. As always, this is AJ for Disney Food Blog, and we'll see you real soon.